time. That's what I keep on saying till I lose my mind. Feel like a bird in the sea breeze, shine like a moon in the last sky. Can you believe it till the end of your life? Go with some backs into a room. That's enough for satisfaction. Ready, know how to have fun. No need of explanation. What's it worth of nothing? What's it worth of nothing? Surely that doesn't matter. Storyteller. What's it worth of nothing? What's it worth of nothing? Oh no, it doesn't matter. So we will never lose. That I didn't ever be taller. That she loves some another. Just cause you think you know me, don't try to change my mind. Happiness of seeing a newborn. All future that could be dream of. Everything will be judged by our moral life. Don't waste some labels in the hands. Great big personality need a fool. Don't mind if you make a mistake. Now don't come back at all. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth of nothing? Please spread these words forever. Storyteller. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth of nothing? How can it not matter? The soul we lost one by one. Look around, run around. There's nothing left to smile for. Look around, run around. There's nothing left to cry for. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth of nothing? Don't ever let it fade out. Storyteller. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth of nothing? There is no need for sorrow. Great songs will never die.
Yeah, I do know the next one. In a bit. Let's see. There will be puppy noises. Theoretically, that's working. Yeah, we should be good. Alright. That's all good. We got this. Oh, that's not wrong. What about this? We'll do that thing, yes. Okay, no, we're good. We're gonna give it a minute or two though. Then at 10:30, issue number 4 will premiere on Global Comics. theoretically. Alright, cool. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Again, there will be puppy noises. I have a beautiful little baby girl in a crate right there. Oh, I'm fostering for a bit. So it may get squeaky. Let's see. Okay, that should be working. That's working. And I'll deal with that once things have, maybe about 20 minutes. Okay. Cool. Theoretically, we are a go on everything. Go. Go, go, go. Oh, that's a lot. Let's try this. It's a little less. I don't mind a lot here and there. Just a little bit more stream promo real quick for the heck of it. Oh. But yeah, I've been on for a bit, so. I'm not surprised. There you go. Cool. Now I can get straight into. Well, our plan today is one. It's done 100 of these now. Or at least by the time this one's finished, it'll be 100 of these. It's crazy. Certainly has not been consistent, but it's kind of neat to me. It's weird. Is that unmuted? Yeah, we're good. Hopefully there's not a ton of technical difficulties. Again, I haven't streamed in a while. Even on the other podcast, we stopped streaming and we started live or pre-recording. And that's been neat. It's a little bit easier for the setup. Oh, it is a morning, and it is, what is the 8th or the 9th? It is the 9th of May. Okay. In about 20 minutes, Jack Irons 4 will go live on Global Comics. Again, theoretically. Yeah. What else you got? Oh. Sorry if it's low energy. I am still waking up. I took care of the animals. Puppy's been fed. My 3 dogs have been fed. Cats have been fed. I have not been fed, though, to be fair. Well, I guess we can get into what I've been reading. We'll just hop into it. So, this is not all I've read, but it is each of the series I've read since last time I've updated on any reading. I believe last time I was doing any of the, updating what last time I streamed, I don't think I was reading much. That has significantly changed. Basically, we'll start here. As it's been coming out, I've been collecting and reading Fist of the North Star. Volume 12 is it the start of the soft reboot? I think Volume 11 might have been the actual start of the soft reboot. I'm not 100% sure. But I was not into this volume for a good chunk of it, and then it pulled itself together about the last third. there's some cool points and yada yada. You know, it's Fist of the North Star. It was certainly not anything I unexpected.
Elizabar said,
Hey.
roses are red,
Oh, let's see how he
violets are blue,
pronounces
omi wa shindiara.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Welcome, Lysbar. Thanks for stopping by. But it pulled itself through because this arc is a soft continuation from what had basically been a finished story. And it took a while for me to get hooked onto the main villain, the main antagonist you see there. It's an antagonist more than a villain. The whole bit is like he's so honorable, his men will throw themselves in front of them to protect him, kind of deal. And his whole passion is like he's serving an evil man to protect a symbol. It is a person, you find out, but for a bit you're not sure if it's like a king or a leader or whatever. They hold that as like the mystery. It's got a kind of neat reveal. The time skip in Fist of the North Star when they do this soft restart. It's fine. Rin and Bot, who were the kids who were following Kenshiryu for most of the series, are fine. They're like far more important now. They're this big rebellious army that are freeing slaves and stuff. They're the heads of it. Again, I was not really into it, but it got back into it.
Elizabar
And you get to see
said, the 90s live-action movie is Kino. It has Malcolm McDowell in it. How could it be anything less?
That's true. Malcolm McDowell makes most things significantly better. Even when he's South Park episode where he's the narrator and it's supposed to be oh god, it's like a whole Pip episode, the little British kid. Forgetting the book it's supposed to be off of, and then it's like the old lady sucking the energy and life force of her kids or her grandchildren to stay immortal, or she's trying to swap a body with that kid. Great Expectations. It's supposed to be off of Great Expectations, and then there's like an army of robot monkeys towards the end of it. It's great. Malcolm McDowell makes that episode, and it's wonderful. The live action movie I have seen clips. I have not watched it. It seems ridiculous, which it should be. Fist North Star is like the goriest soap opera I've ever come across. It is terribly a soap opera. Like there's it's just a violent soap opera. There's nothing else I can really say about Fist of the North Star as a thing. It's great and has been great up to this was the misstep, or maybe the last chapter of the volume before this. Whenever they did the soft reboot, started it, or soft restart, or the continuation with the time skip, it was pretty rough. It got there though. Eventually, it makes you like Falco enough. Eventually, the story that's told is interesting, but it's a lot of eventually. It took me the longest. It took me 2 months, I think, to get through this, which is usually like I finish them the day I get them. But once I got to the point where I was like, oh, okay, I get what they're doing, then yeah, I tore right through it. And it's just beautifully gory art.
Elizabar said,
great paneling, all that.
You ever read the Ricky O manga, since we're talking about things that are ridiculous?
I bet it shares a lot with Fist of the North Star. No, I have not. I didn't even know it had one, which I could see it having one. Because again, its gore level and how it approaches things is very Fist of the North Star. It's a lot of why I liked Rikio. Besides the fact that it's, as you said, ridiculous. It's about as ridiculous as of a film as I've seen, which is wonderful. Honestly, I had a great time with it. But yeah, it took a while. I'm still enjoying it. I'm going to keep collecting it until they're out of Fist of the North Star. As far as I'm aware, it's been over for a while, so I'm curious how long this restart time skip
Elizabar
bit goes
said,
before it finishes.
The manga is where M. Bison's character got his look from. Capcom stole the character design from one of the later villains.
Okay, I could see that. The M. Bison look also would fit into a Fist of the North Star, so that makes sense. Huh. Yeah, I can see that. Neat. I'm gonna have to look that up at some point. But yeah, I read that. It took me way longer. In between reading that, I watched the entire 28 episodes or whatever's come out of Freyrin Beyond Journey's End, the anime, and I started collecting the manga. I've got 3 volumes so far. I've read all of them. The pacing's immaculate. The story's so fun, and like, it's got a lot of ideas that I haven't come across being hit on in this way. Those unfamiliar, it's a
Elizabar said. I meant the Ricky manga, not Fist of the North Star, but the aesthetic is the same, face blue smiling.
No, that's what I understood. I understood you. The aesthetic is very similar, so I said it would fit in perfectly with Fist of the North Star. Freyrin, Beyond Journey's End is the whole concept. It's after the D&D party defeats the main villain, what happens? And it's about an elf coming to terms with, like, not quite immortality, but long-lived life, and what that means to, you know, friendships, relationships, all of that. Its world building's really great. The character interactions
Rob
are
Kuro
fun.
said.
Can definitely recommend.
What S good, guys? What S really good?
What is really good? Anything. So I got a puppy over here. She's really good. She's adorable. Fucking adorable. This manga is really good. The anime is also quite good, off of Freyrin Beyond Journey's End. This has been fucking incredible, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I started the anime many times because I'm a big Viking guy. I like a lot of historical Viking shows. I like, honestly, a lot of the pagan end of their religion. There's a lot of it's a very loose religion, to be fair, but a lot of the precepts, concepts, symbology. Big fan of Norse culture. Ancient Norse culture, up into some bits, you know, so some horrific bits, but yeah, we'll get there. With Freyrin, though, I can recommend the anime greatly, and the manga's just quicker paced of the anime. Both the dub and the sub are incredible also with it. If you want like a weird mix of slice of life and fantasy adventure, it's the best I've come across, but that doesn't, you know, it's not a genre I jump into all the time, but it's super heartwarming, fun, great character moments. There's a reason it was coming up on my timeline so much. She's a unique character, and the story that's behind it, the thesis of it is very unique. It's well done, wholesome. It's very wholesome for an action adventure thing. I guess we'll get to it then. This I have become obsessed with. I had started the anime of Vinland Saga many times, and the anime does not start like the manga. And so I would get a minute, 2 minutes into the anime, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's not really for me. And I did it again last night, even though I read Vinland Saga. I was like, okay, well, I'm out of volumes of Vinland Saga. I want to watch it. And so I started it, and it starts different, and it starts with it doesn't even start with the main character like the manga does. It's weird. I don't know why they made these changes to the anime that aren't really great. It skips chapters ahead to show you something that you don't really need to know yet. I don't know. As an adaptation, I can see why I haven't watched it. But I picked up Vinland Saga. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. And I picked up 1 volume of it. 1 book of it, I guess, because they do it in books. Dark Horse is also putting out the big deluxe like they do with Berserk. I don't need that. These are nice. I don't know why you need to upgrade. They're put together, so they put Vinland Saga, Berserk, and Vagabond together. And I've been wanting to start Vagabond for a long time. I probably at the same time should have picked up a book of Vagabond, but for some reason I ended up with Vinland Saga beforehand. It was my birthday on Monday, and so I was treating myself to something. And so God, I don't even know what to say about Vinland Saga. It's all about the character work in Vinland Saga. It's incredible character work. The vibe's really good. It's got a loose, more shonen jumpy style art style than like you'd expect from like something like Berserk or Vagabond. Um, but at the same time, the Makoto Yukimura, he knows when to go to that crazy details. This weird balancing act instead of Berserk, where it's just like I'm gonna put hyper detail into nearly everything, or Vagabond, where it could be like that as well. It breathes more like a One Piece or a Dragon Ball, or whatever. There's a lot more empty space, cleaner lines, until he needs to express an emotion or a hard amount of action, and then it boom. You'll see that in a lot of manga, but very, very precise with it, Yukimura, and that adds a lot to it. But it's the character work. Askeladd and Thorfinn's relationship. So Thorfinn's the main character you'll follow. Young Viking boy, father's killed by Askeladd, quote unquote. I don't want to ruin that angle of it. Askeladd adopts him and kind of keeps him on a leash by promising that if he continues, as a reward for serving well or working for him well, doing something important, right, proving himself, he will duel him. And so Thorfinn, he wants to defeat Askeladd in an honorable fight. That's his whole bit, to avenge his father. And that strings you along for like the first 4 books. And it's really well done, just as a concept. And there's a lot of other characters. There's the whole geopolitics of the Danish invading England in the mid thousands, I want to say. Actually, early thousands, because it's like 1013 or something for most of it, and then by the time they do a little bit of another time skip, it's about 1018. So I don't know. It's beautiful, and it had one of the most beautiful culminations of a character arc to the next arc I've ever come across. With Berserk, it took time, it slows down, and then you start feeling Guts soften and adapt and use his terrible experiences as strength for others, and that's like a big thing, and it comes over time. It takes a lot longer. This, it takes a while, but there's eventually a time skip having to do with
Eliza Barr said, Danish King Canute was the best king England ever had. Fight me, bro.
So King Canute he's fighting with the other king of England who had exiled himself during Canute's father's war with England. He had ran away, right? And he just came back since Canute is now going for it. Canute and Harald are going for it, the 2 brothers. But we meet and travel with Canute for a good chunk of this as well. It's historical fiction. I'm a big fan for that. It's grounded, but it's got enough like shonen tropes to it. Like there's this fella called Thorkel, and he's like 7'8", and he could chuck tree limbs, right, tree trunks at people as spears, that kind of shit. And he was fighting for the English when you first meet him, because his whole bit was he just wants a good fight. So he usually fights with the losing side, just so he can have the best fight. That's his whole bit. But very classic Viking demeanor, right? And Thorkel's a really fun character, super direct and honest. Classic warrior trope. It explores like the big bit. If you've seen Vinland Saga anywhere, or if people have done it, and I doubt it'll be in. No, it's in here in a moment, but it states this thesis that the father tells Thorfinn, the son, the main protagonist, that you have to understand that no one has any enemies. There are no enemies. Thor's was a Jomsviking. Big legendary, the closest thing you'd get to like knights in Viking culture, right? Up there, great warrior, apparently legendary. They call him Thor's the Troll. And you see some of that. In fact, that's what the anime starts with, is trying to establish Thor's as the Troll, which is it's a weird angle to start off with instead of what the manga does, but okay. And to start with Thor's is weird. But that's one of the theses, right? And then most of the time you're finding out,
Elizabeth
you're experiencing Thorfinn.
said, "Good old Ethelred, the
Ethelred!
English kings were cooler
Yes!
when they had regnal names instead of regnal numbers like the French kings."
That's it, Ethelred. Yes, he had come back, and then recently he just got poisoned, and then the one of his sons that took over also got poisoned, thanks to Canute. Where I am in this, but with Thor's, he left. He fakes his death and leaves the Jomsvikings, and they come and get him to invade England, right? Because they need their best warrior. But within the Jomsviking culture, they can't let anybody leave like that, so they try and kill him and set him up, and that's how Askeladd and Thorfinn and Thor's meet. But the thesis, again, is that the father's trying to explain this. He's experienced battle, he's dealt with this, and he knows that the other line that Thor tries to put forward is a real warrior needs no sword, or a true warrior needs no weapon. And so it's those two concepts that are forgotten by Thorfinn while he's trying to avenge his father, right? So that's kind of an emotional loss, that's a really unique background bit that, like, he's forsaken this to avenge this, right? Like, what his father stood for is being forgotten in the rage and anger that Thorfinn feels towards Askeladd for his father's death. And Askeladd literally raises this kid, basically, from 12 to 18, 19. A lot better relationship. It's very similar to Guts in the Mercenary Band, little kid Guts in the Mercenary Band, but without the child rape. But I think I just got demonetized. But there's a beautiful, and I had it spoiled. There's a beautiful heel turn to how the story presents itself that I just hit in book 5. Where I don't want to spoil it, because if you do read it, it's so very much worth reading. I am so glad I gave it a chance. But that recontextualizes those two messages from Thor, the two thesis statements basically of the series, from Thor's to Thorfinn. And the moment that got me basically is Thorfinn finally has been able to feel all of the deaths and murders and all of the weight of what he's done through violence. And it communicates that you need to carry that with you to grow. It's a really, I know it's a kind of a, I'm underselling it greatly because of how it's presented, the rhythm, the motion, the symbology that Yukimura uses to convey this fact. I can't do it. Convey this thought, this thesis, and recontextualization of the thesis statements at the beginning of the series. And I am just so excited to see where this goes that I actually bought the rest of the series.
Said, "I'm reading The Batman That Laughs right now."
Oh, okay. I have not read a modern Batman story
Jumbo Scorpions
for a long time.
Said, "Can't stand this arc, lol."
I heard, so when I see The Batman That Laughs, I keep seeing it like compared to Judge Death from Judge Dredd, and I'm slightly more familiar with Judge Death than I am Batman Who Laughs. But modern comics I have not read, and even this is probably from about 10 years ago, and I'm just, oh man, I'm loving every second of it. So I can't recommend Vinland Saga enough. I don't recommend the anime so far. I'm sure it gets better, but how they reorganize
Jumbo
the story
Scorpions
isn't great.
Said, "It just feels like a badly written Grant Morrison wannabe, lol."
Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, and Neil Gaiman spawned hundreds of poor imitators. I'm not surprised. Garth Ennis as well, but Garth Ennis at least never tried to be terribly pseudo-intellectual, so the arrogance isn't there. When people try to be Garth Ennis, it's just sloppy gross out. Just tends to be sloppy gross out. But
Jumbo Scorpions,
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Said, "But I heard that Scott Snyder did ask for Morrison's advice at times."
Oh, it's Scott Snyder. Okay. Oh, I can't tell you. Yeah, I don't read much modern. The closest thing, so this is from last year. My friend got it for me for my birthday on Monday, and I am 2 issues in.
Jumbo Scorpions said, "You ever heard of Session 8 by Garth Ennis?"
I have heard of it in terms of like by title. I have no idea what it's about or its bit. My favorite Garth Ennis stuff is his Punisher Max run, and then Fury Max is
Eliza
incredible.
Said, "Chris Chan is a greater and more influential creator than Alan Moore. You don't see an 85-part documentary about Alan Moore, do you?"
The most documented person on the internet, and that's a hell of a thing to say. Influential, yeah. Did that... Inspirational, though, I wouldn't say so much. Influential, yes. Do not be that person. That's Chris Chan's legacy, by far. Like in every angle that they can document. With Alan Moore, it can be similar. To be fair, he just had that big statement. He just got relevant again for a second because he's like, comic books are for kids. Why the hell are you doing this? And graphic novels don't exist, right? That was his big bit. Recently, I just watched a Comics by Perch video on that.
Can be.
Alan Moore's kind
said,
of a dick.
"What it do, homies and homiettes?"
Yo, welcome. Just about to talk about Snicked. Sutomo Nihei's little
said,
short run on
"There's
Wolverine.
one bit in it where Batman gets a parking ticket and he's like, 'I bent myself backwards for you people,' and the black lady giving him the ticket was like, 'You people,' and Batman was like, 'No, I didn't mean it like that.'"
And again, I can't read modern comics. I can't. So this is... I've been a manga reader for so long because of that.
Garth Ennis wrote it BTW LOL.
Yeah, well, he also wrote Barracuda. so he's got to make up for it somewhere.
David Schmeling said, "Howdy,
shit.
finally I get around to catch a live stream. How are you doing?"
Yo, I'm doing pretty good.
Said, "LOL, that is wild."
I can see him though, because yeah, Barracuda, holy heck.
Thanks
that is
for following.
A racist caricature, if anyone. Thank you.
Said, "Oh, Garth Ennis, LOL, yes, sounds about right."
Yeah, again, he has to make up and survive in comics somehow these days, because holy shit. Again, just Barracuda alone, let alone the rest of the caricatures, I'll use nicely, that he used throughout Punisher Max and many other of his series are strong caricatures. But that's hilarious. That's hilarious. On to Snicked. If you know, I was told it's pronounced Blam. It could be it's spelled Blame. It's a very cool manga series by Sutomo Nihei. I can recommend that very well.
Said,
but Snicked is interesting. Yo, El Crudo. Snicked is super interesting. I don't like that it's color. My friend who gave it to me also, he had read it first because he's a big Blam fan. I don't like that it's color. Nihei's art doesn't really work in color great. He's very he's hyper detailed but loose. It's very sketchy but loose. He was an architect before he started his comic career, and in Blam in particular, that's the whole idea. It's a city that's an infinitely self-replicating city, and all the mysteries and the time space and all that weird stuff that comes with that.
Said, "Not a fan of that dude. He has had like 3 hits for a mountain of cringe, LOL."
And it's I like Fury Max. I like Punisher Max. Is there anything else up there I like?
"Some artists just flex harder in black and white."
Yep, and mangaka tend to think of it like that, so that's the bit. And so this guy by far flexes harder in black and white. That front image, for instance, is the coolest piece of art in the whole thing, only because of what the color does to his work. Like, I just saw something. Like, everything becomes super, like, muddy, because there's just too much to it. You can't focus on the details anymore. It just becomes, I don't know, putting too much frosting on your brownie.
"The Batman Hush Black and White edition feels really hard to follow."
Oh, well, see, and that's the difference too. Sometimes you do need color. Like I love my artist's black and white work, but what the color does is recontextualize stuff for my work, and I really appreciate that. By the way, let me see, what time is it? That should be issue number 4 of Jack Irons and Steel Cowboy has now premiered on Global Comics. If you folks want to read it, I will send you a link. The first 3 issues as well are free to read for the weekend, maybe a little bit longer if I feel brave enough. Here is the link to Jack number 4. Really appreciate it if you folks just click it and give the cover a view, just to boost it in the Global Comics algorithm. I'd appreciate it greatly. I'm excited for more folks to check out Jack 4. I'm really proud of that issue. If you haven't checked out my work in general, please check it out. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely hitting that today. Laguna Munta said, I love you, Brosnick, as a loner.
Got it. I will get it back to you. I'm almost done with it. I am actually exactly halfway through.
Said, I already read it, but will boost the algos.
Thank you.
David Schmeling said,
yep, Blade of the Immortal.
I generally love plenty of vivid styles such as Blade of the Immortal.
So the heel turn in Vinland Saga is kind
Laguna
of
Munta
what matches.
Said, easy read.
I don't know. Vinland Saga has been incredible. It's the best thing I've read in a long time. Mainly again because of the character work.
Said, well, El Crudo, imagine running into you yet again.
Oh yeah, I'll burn right through it. Blam, the first book I tore through very quickly because again he's very much a visual storyteller and not so much a narrative, wordly storyteller.
El Crudo.
I'm trying to find something interesting to show you folks that kind of
eating
shows.
pizza at my desk and hit the Cody YouTube button D.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. This is episode 100 of Coffee, Cody, and Comics.
El Crudo.
100 of these suckers.
Yo, Professor E, I am sending something your way. Thanks for the hospitality.
Yo. But yeah, so I've been reading again. And that's been nice. Again, Freyrin, I've read the first 3 of the manga, but I watched all of the anime.
Laguna Munta.
That's been released.
Said, let me know when you want to read Blame Volume 2.
Cool. I've got the rest of Vinland Saga coming in because I couldn't hold off. And Vinland Saga isn't done, but it's got 13 books out. I've got the first 5. I got the rest of them for my birthday. That was my big, hey, you're loving this, enjoy it. You have no enemies bit alongside a true warrior doesn't need a sword. I thought, that's pretty corny, right? It's the best kind of corn when contrasted to what else is going on with it. I adore Vinland Saga. I cannot recommend the anime because of how it's restructuring the story from literally the first second you're watching it. I don't like that. That being said, I bet it's pretty good. The first season of the anime, from the titles I read of the episodes, it takes you to the heel turn, which makes sense. And then the second season, I've read up to theoretically the 6th episode of
Bruce
that.
Pat Node
So yeah.
Said, hey, Cody, good to see you again. Hope all is well.
Welcome.
Laguna Munta.
Folks stopping in
Said,
today. Thank you.
To Walk with Giants episode 13 premieres this Sunday at 7 p.m. MST.
Oh, that
Laguna
is
Munta.
true.
Said, shameless plug.
No, we need those. So let me see if I can pull up our channel. So Laguna Munta and I have been doing a podcast for a bit called To Walk with Giants, where we chat about concepts, single word concepts, very, very big ones that have a lot to them, right? So if you're interested in that kind of exploration of ideas, just to throw in the background or what have you, we would adore you checking it out. But let me go ahead and get to the channel and I will link that real quick. That is IronVerse Comics. I want your channel. There we go. And I want this. We've done, what is it, 13 of them? Oh, you can hear it in the background. So we did 9 of them as live streams, and we've done up to 12 in general, with the last 3 being pre-recorded. I think number 13 premieres here soon. This Sunday, in fact. There's that. Here is the link.
Eliza Bar
We would love
said,
boosts and your ideas, thoughts,
"First you
all
bet
that fun
Manny
stuff on that.
anytime slightly smiling face. Secondly, I'll blow your mind with this single word concept pie."
Pie. That is a single word. If you remove the E, there's probably more to it, because then when you talk about infinity or the weirdness of the concept of the circle, um, though pies are like that too. Though you can cut a pie and it has limited pieces. That's the disappointment of it.
Mrs. H, Coffee Kappa, said, "Hey, been a while popping in between farm and piano lessons to say hi."
Well, thank you everybody for stopping by today. It actually is super heartwarming because I haven't done one of these for a few weeks. Multiple reasons, but yeah. Thank you. I hope everybody's been doing well. Yeah, cool. So again, I will link folks to my Global Comics. Issues 1 through 4 of Jack are free to read for the weekend at the very least. I might go further. I might forget to unfree them. But number 4 just hit. If you want to just click the link to give me a view on there to boost it in the algorithm, I'd be greatly appreciative. The Global Comics algorithm. I'm competing with Vault Comics, the publisher, just hit there. Competing with Image, I'm competing with Boom, I'm competing with quite a few of the larger indie companies. Valiant's been on there for a bit, Heavy Metal's been on there for a bit. And for my first chunk of time on there, we were soundly beating the crap out of their releases. Hell, we were beating the hell out of Berserker from Keanu Reeves for a chunk, which was fun. But I don't expect that now. There hasn't been as much hype around my work for our team's work in general for a good chunk of time for a good chunk of reasons. But nonetheless, I wanted to do something. It's been a good chunk of time, and I think I want to see how this does. Honestly, it's been so long. Issue number 4 is at least a year old now at this point. So screw it. Go on. If you haven't read it yet, there you go. Let's see. So that premiere was a big thing about today. So I hope I hope if you haven't checked it out, you please do. It looks like, whoa, hey, that's loud. That's fun. There you go. Let me just blow your ears off real quick. Ooh, look at all those things going on. Okay. You can tell I haven't streamed for a while because a lot of stuff was left on. Oh, I can do that too. Hopefully I didn't kill anybody's ears. I greatly apologize if I did. That is the price of doing business. Oh, there you go. Hey, look at that. And then we go ahead and display screen. Display screen? No. Yes. Oh, it did work. Hey, look at that. There's issue number 4 right there. It's a fun one. I'm very proud of it. As always. Every issue's been better than the last. And
David Schmeling said,
in my opinion,
"Following you now on Global Comics."
Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. So we were doing that. I did talk about what I've been reading. I don't think I've picked up anything else. But that's the modern comic that I've read. The closest thing. And that's last year Snicked came out. You were talking about some Batman, and I'm my Batman series, right? The ones I'm about. I loved Long Halloween. I liked Serious House and Serious Earth. We were talking about Grant Morrison. What else do I have there? Killing Joke, but with Killing Joke, it's fine. Under the Red Hood was fine. Oh yeah. I also did the Jim Starlin where they first killed Jason Todd. That one's good. Death in the Family, I think it's called. But that's my Batman. I haven't read much. Yeah, there's Dark Victory after Long Halloween. I am a Batman fan. I enjoy the character greatly, but just never was my
Laguna
go-to.
Munda said, "Let us see you drink some coffee." False advertising.
I've been drinking coffee the whole time, man. On my National Waifu Association mug from the ever incredible Nanko. Yeah. Like, big Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider got me into comics, and like I have not
Laguna
found
Munda
a new Ghost
said,
Rider that I enjoyed.
My bad.
No, you unforgivable. The and Punisher, what they've been doing to Frank, what they did to Frank till it was God. What's the guy's name? Joe Garrison now. Fucking A. I think that's over. As far as I'm aware, it just kind of petered out and is dead now.
Mrs. H. Coffee Kappa said,
indeed.
audible slurping is demanded.
Oh, okay. Audible slurping. Oh, you guys haven't. She's been very polite, so you haven't gotten many puppy noises either. She's actually napping right now. She's so damn adorable.
Mrs. H.
Mr. Boota
Coffee
got to
Kappa
meet her.
said, release the slurp.
The slurp has been released. Yeah, modern stuff like just does not. There's a couple manga I keep up with. I keep up with One Piece. I keep up with. Is that the only one? Freyrin, I'm trying to catch up on. I'd like to keep up with that. One Piece might be the only one I'm like.
David Schmeling
Oh, Spy Family
said,
I keep up with Spy Family.
I just can't get into any modern US comics anymore. Discovered plenty of Euro comics instead and have plenty of fun with it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And honestly, there have been so many amazing comics in the past release. Like, I was always a back issue guy to begin with. I always wanted to catch up on things or read older stuff because there's just so much of it anyway. But that's not how you continuously support the new industry, right? That's not how you keep it alive. Back issues do nothing for anybody. So the closest thing to modern comics that I do pretty much consistently pick up are crowdfunded stuff because it's part of the culture of comics crowdfunding is being part of the community, supporting each other and reading each other's stuff and all of that. And I'm so behind on my indie comics, my crowdfunded comics reading. It's shameful, honestly. But for a good couple months there, I wasn't reading nearly anything. Again, when A Fist of the North Star volume would come in, I'd read that. Spy Family, I'd read that as those volumes release. I think another one comes out in August, so that's the next one. I'm caught up on Spy Family. One Piece is every couple months. I finally got to Egghead Island or whatever it's called. Finally got out of Wano.
Laguna Munda said, mainstream TV film is the same old stuff as where most of the quality is.
Yeah, everything's having to get cheaper, adapted, and the marketing has overtaken the creative juices in most cases, so they create to market instead of they market a creation. It's pretty rough. A lot of music. But even that, it's been older stuff that I've been getting into primarily. I'm super stoked for tomorrow, the new Unleash the Archers album comes out. I'm going to check that out because the couple tracks they released so far have been really good. Primus, Perfect Circle, and Pucifer just released an EPPP. I really enjoyed that. It was the first music I had bought in a long while. But even that's like older bands. Well, Unleash the Archers isn't, but those three are most certainly. It's media's having a hard time, and there's so much within the independent music space that it can be difficult to latch on to something as well. From independent music, independent art. I watch a ton of fucking YouTube. Like, that has been my primary media for years now at this point. That and manga at this point. That, manga, and the music. But music's kind of that one's rough because you listen to the same things again and again in a lot of cases. I don't read the same manga again and again unless something really, really killer. I don't watch the same YouTube videos again and again, right? So it's a slightly different beast. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there in media right now, especially as the economy keeps taking a hit. It's going to get more and more competitive. It's worrisome for me when I want to go try a round 3 on a trade paperback, I think we're at. But nonetheless.
Mrs. H. Coffee Kappa said, Pucifer, my brother always pronounced it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. Um, but yeah, it might be Piece of Her. I think it's Piece of Her because I think it's supposed to be a play on the fallen angel, quote unquote angel. Um, the I don't know. I'm excited for basically I'm super excited to be able to catch up on Vinland Saga. Like I'm
Mrs.
gonna be
H.
so sad
Coffee Kappa
once I do.
said, I like your pronunciation better.
I get you. I think that's what it's supposed to be as well, but I can't for sure tell you. Um, Never watched them actually say it. I've just watched the music. Big fan of Maynard since I got into Tool, so it was hard for me not to check out the other stuff that he's done. Um, Out of that EPPP, Peaceford put out the best track, No Angel. Pablo's Hippos from Primus is fun. There hadn't been a new Primus track for a long time, so that was kind of cool. And the Perfect Circle track's okay. It's what I expect. It's the more poppy of the three Maynard bands. Yeah. Santa was the EP's release. It was $5, and it went straight to them. It wasn't through any record company or anything. It was their own like independent site and stuff. It was kind of neat to see. So I was happy to throw my $5 towards those three songs and those three bands. But yeah, I mean, the Spy Family volume I recently read was great. It had a bit where Anya and her class, and I think the class above her are hijacked by some terrorists. Their bus is hijacked on the way to a trip or whatever by some terrorists who just want their friends released and stuff. It's a classic Spy Family setup.
Bruce
But it was
Patnode
really well. It was very long.
said,
It was like 10
have
chapters.
you ever listened to Kiss? It's older, but you would recognize some of the members.
Kiss? No, I haven't even heard of Kiss. Let me check that out. It's probably Caius would be my guess. That's three S's, but it should still find what I'm looking for. Stoner rock band. Okay. Palm Desert, California in 87. Considered one of the pioneers. Queens of the Stone Age. Okay, it had a member of Queens of the Stone Age in it. That's the band I recognize out of where they went on to. German slang word for hangover. Okay. Sons of Kiss. Oh, interesting. Oh, that makes sense.
David Schmiller
Okay.
said, was caught in so much work that I couldn't catch up
Yep.
with most indie comics, yet there are a lot of interesting titles already.
Exactly. That's the other bit too. There's so much within it. There's a few creators I back everything from, right? But besides that, I haven't like picked up anything new and interesting because most of my thing about I like a physical book, so that always costs more for one. And manga tends to be a longer run of things, and so when I do invest, it's oh well, that's where it's going. I have picked up the first two volumes, omnibuses, I think they're actually calling them since it's Dark Horse, of Innocent, which is an incredible series, but I haven't read it in years. I read all 176 chapters from a fan translation site because it didn't exist in English. December 31st, January 1st, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 2020. Yeah. And I think it was 2020 to 2021. 176 chapters. I had to read all of it through. It was so good. And it's two series. It's Innocent and Innocent Rouge, Innocent Blood. It's got different translations. It's about the French Revolution by Shinichi Sakamoto, and it was, at that point, the greatest piece of sequential art I've ever experienced. I don't know if that still holds true. Vinland Saga I am enjoying more.
Said, I used to back almost everything back in 2018, but now I cast a more discerning eye.
And that's fair, Bruce, because there's been a lot of truth that's come out, right? A lot of like, well, this was promised and this did not happen. There was a lot more personalities being shown as one thing rather than another. There was a lot of incompetence, including myself, that was shown, right? Like it's harder to get super hyped about the independent crowdfunding system, the culture, than it was back in 2018. No question. I've seen that as well. Again, there's a couple creators that are like, yeah, I like what you do, or I want to see where you continue to grow. Like, there's a couple folks like that, but otherwise, yeah, I can't really just like jump on stuff anymore, because I know like I could be tossing that money away for years, and like eventually that was not a thing I could do anymore, right? And so I understand quite a bit of the shift in the hype and culture of comics crowdfunding. I get
Eliza
it.
Barr said, "Still waiting on Handyman from Tyler Carpenter and Brad Ashworth. 4 years later, I will never get tired of harassing Tyler about this book."
Fair enough. Like, there's that kind of bit too, right? I don't think it'll take ever that long for me to get something done, but like it takes too long. If I'm going to do something again, it is likely a reprint collection, and then after that, how that goes. I have a shot at a private investor who could fund the next issue of Jack beforehand, and then I'd have to crowdfund the return investment, right? I
Eliza
think
Barr
that's a better way to go about
said,
it.
"Maybe one day Little Girl Lethal will get printed Kappa."
Kappa, indeed, you fuck. I guess I gotta be able to laugh at it at some point. That was another huge, like, you want a nasty taste in the back of your fucking mouth about crowdfunded comics. There you go. That entire situation almost got me to quit comics. Like, it same year my dad died. I couldn't fucking process that many angles of fucked up. Yeah, no, that's
Bruce Pat Node
that was tossed out money
said,
towards some
yeah.
nasty too.
Eliza Barr said, "Man, auntie, none of that any of our fault. You gotta laugh at it or it LL break, yeah."
That's part of it too, right? But nonetheless, that kind of shit, like, it's just, you know, just talk about innocent. Talk about being rehumbled and recontextualizing for somebody who didn't have much interpersonal interaction with people for very, very common, you know, only child, couple of the same friends his whole life, and then jumping into comic book marketing and that culture and all of that. I still and will always feel incredibly blessed by how warmly received myself and the work that we produce has been. But it certainly opened me up to some stupid that I wouldn't have even considered a possibility. It's crazy. It's crazy. The previously longest running series on this channel, What You're Reading, for instance, was shut down by a real shitty interaction with a bigger personality in the indie space that, you know, bullshit. And it made me recontextualize and think about it. So I've been doing this instead. That's a wider concept in general, and I've been preferring it by far. And so we got to 100. The other bit is I've been very difficult to make a bad guy out of, which has been nice, because I've seen it. Again, the whole culture of independent crowdfunding comics, it recontextualized itself into something that's kind of nasty a part of the time, and it doesn't matter what side either of it, if you want to divide it into two camps, because it's all the same shit.
Bruce Patnode
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
I've been wanting to ask you, how do you like Global Comics for publishing and distribution?
So the nice thing is, on Global Comics, when they were really kind of getting their foot back in the game, because they've been around for a good chunk of time, but there was a reinvigorated push by their CEO. It was quite easy to get a hold of that CEO, interact, and do those things, and I went viral on Reddit for them for the first 2 issues, and it was really cool to see that. It was probably the most readership Jack has ever got. So it was really easy to stand out. Now that they've included so many larger publishers, they haven't stopped. Like, they just this week they released it so that you can make money even with free releases. That's also kind of why I'm releasing Jack 4 at the moment. But it's been the best online platform for releases for me. I'm not much of an online reader, so I can't say it from a reader's perspective much. I think they do still put creators like first, which has been really cool. It's just grown into a slightly less personal beast, which was always going to happen. Like, as long as they were going to be successful, that was going to happen, right? At the same time, I haven't had enough like consistent releases to judge the platform on its own merits compared to other works that have had consistent releases. I know still the most popular creators on the app, on the platform, are independent creators. They're not Boom, they're not IDW, they're not Antarctic Press. So that's cool to see. I don't think there's a better digital distribution platform right now for creators on the creator end. I don't know if there's a better one for the reader end either. Again, I'm not a reader. I'm not a digital reader. I can't do it often. Again, I was talking about Innocent. I read all of that digitally, but insanely gripping story. But I like it. It's the best experience I've had with that. That's about the best I can say. With any platform, there's going to be give and takes, just in general, because there's a separate platform for something you've created, right? There are sacrifices in that, no matter what. I do genuinely believe the team behind it, from the PR team to the design team to the CEO, they all have the best intention for digital comics in general. Like, I would still throw my weight behind them significantly. But for a unknown independent creator, it is much harder to stand out on that platform than it was when I started on there, by far. I mean, you're competing with Invincible, right? You're competing with Berserker. You're competing with
Bruce Patnode
right now
said,
Digimon, right?
What is their cut, or is it different for everyone?
Here they're pretty straightforward about it. Let me go. We can look through it real quick. I do not care about my I don't think there's anything I'll show you here that you can't see. Where would that be? Would it be here? Let me just make sure there's nothing. Would this show anything stupid? Just how much I've made off the platform, which, again, I also, in terms of digital, I've made the most money off of Global Comics in general than I have otherwise, but that was also through a system like Patreon, where they have a bit where you can support a creator with like Patreon payments, right? So every month you collect this, right? Like here's $20 a month or whatever. So that's where I made the money. I didn't make it through readership or through PDF downloads. Okay, yeah, but you can set PDF download prices as well. I'll make that really... It's not for sale though. Anyway, that's fine. Would it be payout settings? Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care. No. Oh, okay. Your content revenue share is 65%. You can join. They have their own like subscription for creators that then changes the percentage, right? So you give them a certain amount, and then they take, I think, 5% instead of what would
Bruce
that be?
Patnode
35%.
said, "Okay,
Yeah.
I found the terms on their site."
There you go. Yeah, you're gonna have better reading through it, but they certainly are more fair. They don't like Webtoons or a few others. They don't have any like right to your content except for the normal right to like promote it if they wanted to promote it, right? Like they have to have those rights, but they don't have the weird licensing IP shit that Webtoons tends to pull or Tapas tends to pull. So that's nice. And I've still never. I consistently get passive reads as well on the site, even though I don't promote it much. So that's been nice too. I think their algorithm's relatively more fair. To be fair as well, though, for about a year there, I was the top sci-fi comic on the site. So that might still be lingering effects into my readership, right? So I can't say otherwise, like what it's actually like for somebody just putting new stuff on there at this point. But yeah, I am a fan, no question. I haven't found anything better, and I do and have talked to the man at top, and I like him quite a bit. And I have actually consistently talked to the man at top, and definitely has the right intention for digital comics and believes the potential in them is the other big deal. And isn't out just to make the money. He wants to make a platform so more people can read, and part of that is making the money, but it's also making sure that comics are read, right? So that's been cool. Let's see. Oh, thank you folks for sharing. Thank you. I just checked on that. I really appreciate it. That's why people actually showed up. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's still, I would stand behind them greatly. I haven't, let's see, in an hour,
Mrs. H.
Jack has
Coffee
seen
Kappa
96 page views.
said, "Oh, what became of the Vertical Verdun project?"
Nothing yet. So what they ended up doing is with Vault Comics, it sounds like they have an in-house team now. Global has an in-house team that is converting some Vault comic titles to Vertical. So that seems like the direction they went in with that. However, I don't know. There was not a follow-up, I guess is the best way to put it, Mrs. H. And the next I saw about it, it was recently last week with Vault Comics getting some Vertical adaptations. Something could still come of it. I have no idea. But that's a fair question. It's also why I wanted to release number 4 for a bit, is I want to kick up some smoke, nudge them a little bit. But we'll see. On that, I guess I should transport over to the issue number 4 updates. And in fact, I should update the campaign page today as well, because there's information I do not have that I am uncertain about that could mean a lot. Good or bad, but likely bad if I'm not hearing about it. To do with the finishing of issue number 4. So on the good stuff, on fulfillment, I have ordered the first round of poster tubes. The posters are ordered. They're not just ordered, I have them. The standees are on their way from the UK now, so hopefully if I don't have them this coming week, I have them the week after. So I need to sit down and actually produce art. I have to do my sketches. And then 96% of Jack 4 is fulfilled. Then the rest is getting pages from Maxi, which I have not been able to get a hold of him for a little bit. So that's been fun. Continue with Meta. No, I just need to log in. You can only log in with Meta now? Ew, Indiegogo. Ew. Okay.
Matthew D. Reese said, "Hello, hello."
Howdy, howdy, howdy. That's 3 E's. I think this is, I might have an issue getting into... Well, we'll see. No, that's correct, so maybe this isn't.
Mrs. H.
Nope, this
Coffee
is right.
Kappa
Cool, I got back in.
said, "So you were going to have Global convert the comic into vertical?"
Me? No. That's new. That they got an in-house vertical. What we did is, as far as I knew until this last week, where I came across information that they have an in-house that's converting the publisher Vault Comics some of their titles into vertical. As far as I know, it's just the same thing that we had chatted about that good chunk ago, Mrs. H. And my goal would still be to work with you. I don't even know if he checked out what we put forward because I didn't hear anything. It's how it goes, though, sometimes.
Matthew D. Reese said, "WTH is vertical Verdon."
Super secret, Matt. Super secret. Let me see. Campaign. No, I don't want that. I want updates. So I can just make this update while I'm talking about this update. So anyway, most of the gear's in. I actually have to produce art and paint figures, and then we are 96% done. I have to
Mrs.
get a hold
H.
of
Coffee
Maxie
Kappa
somehow.
said, "Oh, they didn't respond to the samples."
Exactly. I didn't
Mrs.
even know
H.
if they received
Coffee
them.
Kappa
Yeah.
said, "My autocorrect is spaz."
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah. The thing that I'm trying to update on, though, is I got one confirmation that somebody in the UK got their book. One. I think we had like 50 go out, quote unquote. I think we had. That's the qualifier that I put together here, and I have had no confirmation from any other country that their physical books have arrived. I also haven't heard from my fulfillment guys that all the books were sent out. So I'm frustrated with that part of it.
Matthew D. Reese said, "So that name is available."
Yes, it is. Did your international order arrive? We'll send that out today, and we'll see. Maybe some folks just didn't feel like updating. I know at least one German backer who didn't get to me until after we had allegedly sent them out. And I say allegedly because I have no actual confirmation. Oh, and I did get the metal bookmark. I think I showed that off before, but this is the prototype of it. If it'll... Oh, okay. Let me turn that off. Give me a second. Go away. Boom. Oh, God, the light. Oh, it's metal. Makes sense. Well, it's the first 3 covers. Nice, sturdy metal bookmark. I like these. I can ship these out print on demand, so... Those are ready to go out as well. And that's the last bit of merch on that level. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Give me a second. That'll work for now. Okay, send that out. We'll see if I get a couple more updates. I want something from besides just the UK. And even then, the poster didn't survive for them, so I've got to replace that. And not the poster, the 1117 pinup did not survive the overseas trip. The book did, apparently. The book survived quite well from what the backer said, which is great. I'm glad the more important part did. Oh, okay, no, I already sent pictures of the books and the bookmark. Good. Okay. Okay, and it's been under a month since I updated, so I don't feel as terrible. Still don't feel stoked, but not as terrible. It's been 2 months since those internationals have shipped. They should be there, particularly the Canadians. I'm surprised I haven't heard from the Canadians. Yeah, I'm terrified that I may have been further taken advantage of. We'll see. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I want this to be finished because I would love to work in comics again. At the moment, I feel like not only do I not, but I have no right to participate. So it's been rough. It's been rough. I love comics. I love making comics. I love talking about the comics I make. And I felt it would be disrespectful to do so while
Mrs.
the
H.
mistakes
Coffee
aren't
Kappa
recompensed yet.
said, "Who was doing the fulfillment?"
I'm not going to talk shit on anybody yet. They've been going through a rough time as well, and their hearts have been in the right place since I started working with them, but hearts in the right place and competency aren't always the same thing. So we'll see. And if something was to happen on that angle, I would like it to be as calm and mutual as possible. So if I start talking shit, that's not a possibility. Also, part of why I released issue number 4 on Global Comics today. For free. There's multiple nudges happening there. See what happens. Yeah. It would not be hard to find out who. In fact, I've announced it through
David
the
Schmeling
updates.
said,
Many
"Global
times.
Comics is the best way for me to test the waters and what people might find more or less interesting. I can only afford it due to being given the chance to work on other indie titles."
Ah, cool. Yeah, we are on
Mrs. H.
96 views
Coffee
of Jack
Kappa
of the Four Sights.
said, "I'm sorry I haven't done any animations lately. I've been bogged down with this tutoring gig and am way behind on all art things. Last day is the 24th, then I'll have more time."
Oh, it's fine, Mrs. H. From what I heard too, is you got to kind of learn a new program. Last I had heard, anyway. So it's no biggie. I'm in no rush. Part of that too is people haven't noticed. Most of what I've been doing through my social media is promoting others' work. And things I want to promote, ideas, concepts, those kind of things. Promoting animal shelter stuff. Again, because I failed in my duty with Jack 4. Period. I completely did, and it's taken so long to recover from it that not only am I embarrassed, I'm shamed. And ashamed in general, and until that has been solved, it feels dishonest to highly promote things and to put any swagger out there in terms of the work and all of this. It feels
Matthew D. Reese
snake oily,
said,
Ugh.
"My kid's rabbit superhero comic grabbing has been doing numbers on Global."
Killer.
Mrs. H.
Glad to hear.
Coffee Kappa said, "Yes, my silly latest computer build has decided to not be compatible with my 20-year-old software."
How dare it, Mrs. H? How dare it not be compatible?
Matthew D. Reese said, "My kid S.
No, I gotcha. No, that's killer. I'm glad to hear. Global again, I think, has great opportunity for smaller creators more so than any other platform I've been on. In fact, Tapas makes it such a fucking nightmare to remove your comic from it. I would never do business with them. Um, I don't know if Webtoons is as bad about removing your comic from their site, but it might be because they have some weird IP shit. Global Comics doesn't do any of that. You can literally just delete something and it's fine. Like you could delete everything you've ever done if you wanted. It's a you know it's not as toxic of a relationship with the platform at all. So I'm glad. I'm so happy for that. But yeah, I can't. I don't feel right in pushing things
Mrs. H.
at the
Coffee Kappa
moment.
said, "The fact that you're openly honest with your disappointment in this situation means you're a keeper weather the storm."
That's the other thing too. I've weathered a lot of storms, and I know when it's feels right to push forward. And I don't like. It's not like I believe that will never happen. We're working on it. It's just taking unacceptably long. And I know why, right? I can track my exact missteps to it. And the fact of the matter is, Jack is far too expensive a project. In general, it's just far too expensive for the scale we're able to operate. And so I have to figure that out too. For new things, for the old stuff that's already been created, it's already been created. But for anything new, I have to find a different way to manifest that quality because it just cannot be done healthily. Last two projects, I've lost quite a bit of money that I don't have to make them happen, even when we're funding above what most, sometimes the last project, 3 times what most crowdfunders can even like really work for. And that's insane that we were able to fund last 2 projects. I love our fans so much for that. But it's insane and it's not healthy. And I have to find a way around that if I want to continue this kind of work. And the disappointment with how The Recluse finished, that one hurt a bit. I know it hurt Scott quite a bit, and I feel terrible about that. The relative success of Cactus Coyote and Global Comics was nice. The 16-page Ashcan preview, I was glad to see that. And Dollar Coins has been incredible. In fact, the reason why we're finishing issue number 4 is because of the fulfillment is because of Dollar Coins. I couldn't have chose a better partner to work with on IronVerse Comics, but I can't hold up my end yet, and it sucks. And I put myself and this work into that position, so that also sucks. But we're working on it. It's just taking a lot of time. And I haven't done a lot of other things I could be doing. Same reason I don't like schedule live streams often, whether it's on my channel or just like promoting the work on other channels. I don't have the right yet. Even after we finish, it might be a little rough, but at least then I'd be like, well, no, we got through it. It's done. Now I can put my feet on solid ground instead of trying to push forward through like quicksand, right? Dishonest quicksand. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, we'll get there. It's just taking forever. It's funny too. So I saw Mythoverse celebrated 5 years recently, which means Jack has been about 6, and I didn't, in terms of like physically released and all of that. In terms of actual like creationary point, I think Jack hit 17 or 18 years now. Crazy. But I couldn't even celebrate it because of that. And that sucks. That one hurt too. I couldn't be like, oh, it's been this, and here's freestyle. I couldn't bring myself
Coffee
to do
Kappa
it.
said, "That's your superpower. You can come up with an awesome story, put together the perfect art team, and get the audience for it, but it sucks because you have so many challenges along the way."
Yeah. I mean, I have a chance, I think, of doing the next issue correctly. In fact, I don't even know if it would be a next issue. I'd like to do like a graphic novel and just finish what I've done with Jack so far. Just like, boom, done. Finish the arc, quote unquote. But I feel guilty even thinking about that without this being done. So I have it planned. I have the notes, quote unquote, the colors, the textures I want to hit along the story beats. I want to hit the things that'll make it important to me, just like every issue's been important to me. The thesis at the center of them, right? But haven't earned it yet. I don't know. It's future stuff, and I'm trying to live in the moment as much as I can, because future ain't guaranteed, and if you put your time up there, you're most certainly wasting time here, right? That's how it goes. Same with the past. But you got to learn from it and then integrate it so you can have a better now, act better in the now. So, yeah. Anyway, doing what I can, doing as I can, but it's going to be a bit. It's still going to be. It's also why, like, I did try to get
David
one of the
Schmeling
sketch cards done recently,
said,
and it was terrible.
"From my experience, staying out of any of the drama, even just reading about it, has helped so much to be in a better mindset, and of course hardships in life aren't helpful."
They aren't helpful indeed. That's been one thing too. Like, I was out of work for a couple months there from a job I really appreciated, and scrambling for work while draining my savings to survive was not the greatest mindset to be in to finish things, let alone anyway, I ended up back there, and I appreciate it, and I'm doing work I appreciate. It means a lot. It's heavy work. This last weekend was awful. One of the days was just sad. Miss a friend. And then it was my birthday, which I share with my dad, who I also miss my friend there too. Those textures, those colors, those feelings, those memories, and those experiences, they demand and deserve, to be carried. That's why Vinland Saga, the moment in book 5 here, and I don't want to spoil it because it takes that long to get to it and for it to mean something. But I've been blessed that the right stories find me at the times I need them. I needed this one. There's a particular, just basically 2 pages that the whole story, which is beautifully paced, excellent character work, beautiful action, all of these wonderful things that make it like just a wonderful read. But the 2 thesis statements in it, the no one on this earth has any enemies, and a true warrior needs no weapon, combined with that beautiful character moment for Thorfinn where his entire life flips on its side, and he there's an old man in it who's helping him. Thorfinn at this point is a slave, and a nicer Viking kind of style slave, quote unquote. The master has given this plot of land. If you build it, you farm it, all of this, then you can earn your freedom kind of slave. And it's not a dishonest kind of vibe, because it's how this master, quote unquote, works. He's got many slaves who have gone through that process and have become free men. But the old master, so the father of the master that bought Thorfinn, he says it's good that they're talking about this empty, his whole life he spent for vengeance, right? And then when that is no longer a possibility, he feels empty, right? All the anger's gone, all of this other stuff that he had built his entire life on is gone. Feels empty. And the old master says that being empty is the best place to be. You can learn so much more. You're completely open. Anything can go into something that's empty, right? That, and then I don't want to spoil it. It's beautiful. But there's the next level of that message that found me at the right time. That's why I love stories so much. I particularly love the comic book medium because it doesn't
David
fucking waste my
Schmeling
time.
said, Vinland Saga seems to have these huge deluxe editions. They look great. The story of season 1 of the anime had some relatable moments to it. Got those huge books from Berserk recently too.
So there's a trifecta of seinen manga that's really promoted in the West, and that's Berserk, Vagabond, and Vinland Saga. It used to be just Berserk and Vagabond, and then I started seeing Vinland Saga put up there. I was like, what? Why? Because I had started the anime multiple times, and the beginning of the anime is not the beginning of the manga at all. They completely recontextualized and changed things, and I don't know why. It's far worse, in my opinion. But I know why it's put up with Berserk now. So with Berserk, you have, Miura starts, let's make this edgy-ass comic. I mean, he starts with a sex scene, right, with a demon that he then kills, right? Like, that's the opening of Berserk. Fucking talk about the Black Swordsman. This is just edge. I'm all edgy, right? Edgiest fucking thing you might read. The whole Black Swordsman arc's kind of like that. Eventually you get to the Golden Age arc, and then he starts his character work, right? And you get a little bit more of Guts' origin and how things developed into what the Black Swordsman's edginess is, right? Like, you get it. It's not as hollow as it is in the Black Swordsman arc. Eventually, Guts grows the fuck up alongside Miura, and watching that bit, reading that bit, experiencing that part of Berserk as it grows up, as he becomes an actual man, somebody worthy, somebody strong who has gone through this, the worst the world could ever possibly offer, and then some, and still carries on. And not only at the beginning he carries on because, revenge, anger, very similar to Vinland Saga, but after that it becomes for others. And there's a moment in Berserk where he sees Griffith up on a hill, and he could either go fight Griffith right now, go do that revenge, or he can stay, keep hidden, and protect those who he's come to love. And he does the second thing. Right, that's the big heel turn in Berserk for, like, Guts' mentality. Vinland Saga has something very similar. And it's fucking beautiful, because you go from this angry kid who had nothing but vengeance to live for, nothing but vengeance, death, murder, and his talent for those things, to a farmer slave who's trying to figure out, well, now how do I continue my life without those things? So good, I bought the whole thing. That was my birthday present, was the rest of Vinland Saga. That was my present to myself, and I can't wait. Tomorrow it should all come in. And Vinland Saga's not done. It's been going on for, I think, over a decade now. It's on book... this is book 5. It's on book 13. And I'm so excited to see where it goes after, because this book 5 has the heel turn, the same kind of Berserk moment where they recontextualize their entire life into something worth living. It's fucking beautiful. So anyway, that's been kind of why I work, what I tried to do with my work as well. I wanted to make something that can find people at the right time. and lend that hand, like I've come across in many other stories. Battle Angel Alita found me at the right time, where the whole idea is how much can you change and still be you. It's the the ship of Theseus is basically the entire story of Battle Angel Alita, all three different, Last Order, Mars Chronicle, and Battle Angel Alita. That found me at the right time where I was needing to rebuild. Berserk found me at the right time, though. Again, I've been preferring Vinland Saga because it's just not as awful. The evils that he's dealing with are far more grounded evils. They're not these giant caricature evils that have far more darkness to them than Mankind has. Mankind's got some darkness. Don't get me wrong, Vinland Saga's got some nasty things. But it's not wallowing in them as much as Berserk does, which you sometimes need to understand them, right? Like, it's a different approach. I want to read Vagabond because I'm very familiar with Miyamoto Musashi and his life journey, and a lot of his quotes are going to be in the back of my mind for strength for my whole life. So I want to see that take, because I know Slam Dunk is like legendary as a sports manga, and I'd like to see why Vagabond is held up to Berserk style, just like I'm so glad I saw why Vinland Saga is. And no, I don't have the capacity to be as prolific as these beautiful talents, these mangaka. But there are stories I still want to tell. And I need to tell them, but I haven't earned them. I haven't earned them yet. And that's been the frustration with issue number 4 in particular. Issue number 3 had some of those frustrations as well. And there's a roadblock there. There's a wall there that needs to be over, under, around, or through. And I think through is the way. And I haven't figured out how to go through that wall yet. So that's... Whoa. And I don't want to just haphazardly try to go through it, right? I think that's what I did with issue 4. It's like, same wall I saw at the end of 3, but I was like, I'll just go fucking through it. And a lot of bruises and breaks, but we are getting through it. But it's not something I wish to repeat ever again. Very unpleasant. So I got to figure that out. But I love this medium dearly. I love my collaborators. I love what we've been able to accomplish. And I know there's more there. Again, I've dishonored it. I've disgraced it. I've shamed the process. With my own incompetence is what it came down to. So I need to figure out a way to... I need to figure out my way through that's not just brute force. Because brute force has worked twice, and both times have left me beaten to hell. So I don't want to do that again. Yeah. I know it's not uplifting, it's not that bit, but, Now, you want a more uplifting story than Vinland Saga that also found me at the right time. And I did talk about it earlier, because I was talking about what I've been reading lately, but Freyrin. It's a beautiful meditation on loss, right, and moving forward. Most of my favorite stories have those connections to them. It's what I also create, right? Freyrin's got relative immortality as an elf. Jack's got actual immortality, right? A lot of loss, a lot of processing. Vinland Saga has that as well. It starts with a father's death.
David Schmeling
Berserks, his mother
said,
found in his mother's corpse.
It looks like plenty of stories start with a theme like angry man seeks revenge, and whether the story becomes more or not depends on whether the author comes to terms with their own hardships.
I agree. It's a lot of processing anger. In my life, I've had anger, but it's never been placed towards the outside, right? I never wanted to place it on the other. Sometimes it's very justified, you should, but I still have been hesitant to, because the only thing I have the greatest experience and knowledge of is myself. Everything else, it's a lot of assumptions, and then I have to discount my knowledge of my own ignorance of that, of the other, right? To have that connect. Doesn't mean I don't like a good revenge tale. I'm a huge Punisher fan, right? And I never wanted to see Frank become like a good guy. I want him to stay the murderous angel of death that he is, with his that deep sadness of loss, right? So I don't know. I will get there. We will get there. Appreciate you folks for sticking around. Many
David
of you
Schmeling
for continuing to collaborate. Means a
And
lot.
Frieren is a very beautiful story. I reached volume 3 of the manga.
Nice! I got through volume 3 of the manga. I watched all 28 episodes of the anime, which gets to about volume 7 of the manga, if I looked at it correctly. And it's continuously been good. I hope it continues that. I'm going to collect it as I can. It's popular enough that it's been really hard for me to get a hold of the physical volumes. So that's kind of why I ended up with Vagabond instead of collecting the rest of Frieren. Or not Vagabond, excuse me, Vinland Saga. The V's are going to get me. But the anime was beautiful.
David Schmeling said,
so good.
And a lovely soundtrack.
I agree. It's really well done. Frieren as a character is just so good, and the concept behind her, the memory, the loss, her growing to affection to things that she must let go of. A lot of my favorite stories involve letting go. My work, I was just talking about how hard this last weekend was, and hell, even the birthday on that angle. It's about letting go. It's placing it in that greater hand, because that's where it is now. It's not with you anymore, right? And contextualizing it properly so that you can move forward. Again, the moment in Vinland Saga that it, what's his name again? Yukamura, I was right. Okay, Yukamura, how he contextualized Thorfinn letting go is what just like it brought me to tears. Berserk's done it. Innocent has done it. Frieren hasn't, but Frieren's going more slice of life kind of fun bits. It's not trying to break your heart as hard. There's a moment in the anime that, like, there's a character in the anime, a near immortal old man who guards a village. Her interaction with that guy and like the reveal at the end of her conversation with him, just beautiful. My God. There's a lot of these moments that I'm so grateful to be able to experience, that there are talents out there that can conceptualize and manifest this very specific type of communication. That's why I love music so much too. It's a very specific type of communication. I love art so much. Yeah. The weakest thing that I've read recently is Volume 12, Fist of the North Star. And it started off pretty rough. It took me 2 months to read it. Again, when I usually would read one of those volumes the day it comes in. Just tear through it. Because it had finished its story, and then they asked them for more. You can tell. And so they had to figure out and come up with another story. You can kind of feel that with, like, after the Cell Saga in Dragon Ball. It's like, oh, come up with another story. And he does. It's a good story. But you can kind of feel the oh, let's go again then, I guess, kind of vibe to the mangaka. That happened with Fist of the North Star. They did it. They got there, but it takes a bit till they get there. Made it rough. Frieren, every arc's been just wonderful. That I've read so far, as well as just what I watched in the anime. So good. And Vinland Saga just doesn't stop being good. The character work is incredibly deep. These are very vibrant, living, breathing, politicizing, complicated characters. with a beautiful thesis that he's continuously running through. That's the big one for me. Berserk's thesis changes after the Black Swordsman arc. It very directly changes, and what it changes into is what makes Berserk Berserk. One Piece's thesis, it's fun. I got spoiled because, of course, I'm reading them as the English releases come out, right? So I did get spoiled on like a major world building thing that really pisses me off because it recontextualizes a lot of One Piece. Thank you, X. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see what that actually means for Luffy and the crew. And with Luffy and the crew, again, is super vibrant caricatures. That's the thing that Oda does beautifully, is taking a concept and making it unbelievably vibrant. And then having them interact in a world with a point, right? Again, the King of the Pirates point is not for power, but for freedom. Love One Piece for that. Yeah. I don't have much else to deal with today, folks. I did my bit. I wanted to see how much further this would go. 96 page views still, which is still very excellent. I'm going to go ahead and share it on X for the hell of it. And I appreciate you joining me. This was episode 100. It's crazy. Can't believe I've done 100 of these. I don't even know when I started this series. Let's see. Yeah, like even this, I didn't really want to celebrate, but it's kind of hard not to. My channel. When did I start Coffee, Cody, and Comics? Go, go, go. There's 100 of them. 2 years ago, I started Coffee, Cody, and Comics. Crazy. Didn't say what day.
David Schmeling said, Friar Ren reminded me a lot at the themes of Jack Irons and my story too. I love to see these deeper topics of letting go, valuing the small moments in life, and to stay true to oneself.
So do I, brother, so do I. Does not say the day it came out, does it? Does not say what day. Just 2 years ago. Alrighty. But yeah. the stream's changed a little bit since then. If folks are interested, this was the first episode. It did end up getting edited. I don't remember why. Probably because it like broke partway through or something. But yeah, no, that was the other bit of this. Is it explores a lot of the same themes I wanted and do want to explore Jack. I was like, oh, okay, I gotta check this out. And then I just fell in love with Freyrin as a character and her life journey, and Stark, and oh no, I usually forget his name but not her name. Oh, but her apprentice. I love her apprentice too. It's very cool. And the villains of the week that they come up with are kind of fun. Yeah, Freyrin's really. I'm glad it has been doing as well as it has. Spy Family's been good. It's just like, if I want a sitcom style something, Spy Family just nails it. Recently, about caught up to the anime. I am caught up on the English releases of the manga, but it was the whole boat cruise bit, season 2 of the anime, and it was done really well. Lloyd and Anya are just such fun characters, and the concept's so strong, and the character dynamics are so strong in that series. It's just endlessly fun. Endlessly fun. Really good gags. Super uplifting. It's not like terribly deep. It's not trying to be terribly deep. It's just trying to be good, and it's very good. Very good. Fist of the North Star doesn't try to be deep either. It just pretends to be deep, and it knows it's pretending to be deep. And that's part of it's like, again, it's a soap opera. It's the only soap opera I've ever read. One Piece tries to be deep here and there, but it's mostly through interpersonal connections. Not like giant inner themes, which also makes it really cool. But yeah, I've harped on about that enough. I did post the update. I hope some folks let me know that, like, oh, I'm in Germany and I got my book, or oh, I'm in Canada and I got my book. I'm really hopeful that the word was kept.
David Schmeling said, Spy X Family has plenty of hidden themes that make the context grim in hindsight.
Oh, by far. Its big one is the tragedy of war, right? Lloyd in particular, Lloyd and his spy master, I forgot what they call her, controller or something like that. Really rough. And then Yor's brother, I forgot his name as well, and his why he's in the SS, quote unquote, right? Basically the SS. The secret police of their world, right? And then Yor, how she was killing for her brother. Now she doesn't really need to, but then, oh, now she's got a family, so now I guess I will recontextualize to kill for them to make it a safer world. It's got some deeper bits. I am underselling that, but those deeper bits are more cherry on top for me, and the execution of the storylines are what's really like there for me in the characterizations. But I think I'm going to call it. It's been about 2 hours. My pups have been out there. I thought the puppy would be yelling this whole time. That's why I said, and puppy noises. But she's been sleeping the whole time. I guess you guys get to see the puppy. And then I'll call it. Because she is adorable. Give me 1 second. Please stand by. No, please stand by. No, really? Let me see. Is that on?
David Schmeling
It's on.
said, Yuri's brother is a very troubled character.
That's a nice way to put it. Please stand by. Hey, that worked. She's been incredibly polite. She's a great house guest to begin with for a little baby puppy. She's amazing. Oh, I guess. Didn't want her to sit at the shelter any longer than she needed to. She's not mine. Just fostering her till she gets transported up to Colorado. Well, she's a pretty little thing. She lovely, huh? Promise. Yeah, she's a good girl. She's been taking care of me and vice versa the last few days. And again, it's a hard work week, and I saw a baby in there that needed a break. And I thought, hey, we could take care of each other. And we are. Came in with an affected eye that then got removed. She's a very good lady. Very sleepy, too. But yeah, so I'm just going to keep pushing forward, doing what I do. I appreciate you folks greatly. This is episode 100. It's still crazy to me. We're almost done with Jack 5, 6, or like a graphic novel combined. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Someday. That's all I can commit to there. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. Like, subscribe, and if you would share.
Eliza Bart said, Where are the fireworks?
I don't think I have anything fireworks to do. I put an extra me, but that didn't work. I can do this. How about that? Best I can do. Gotta wait till the beat drops. Baby.
Elizabar said. That works 100 episodes let SGO.
There you go. Fireworks. Oh yeah. Appreciate you folks. Greatly, greatly, greatly. I'll keep at it. Here's to 100 more, whatever needs to be said on that level. Oh, tiny baby dog. Yeah, thanks for sticking with us and checking out the work as you have, supporting the work as you have. It's incredible. And keep on the path to earning the right to put out something else new. That would be really cool. The next story I have to tell is really important to me. Every one of these has been important to me. But I've known since I conceptualized issue number 5 way back when. This was the one I have to nail. Whatever, if it's issue 5 or if it's like a standalone graphic novel kind of deal. I try to make every issue standalone, so I don't know how I want to handle it. But I do know that it's another important bit, and we will get there someday, huh, Miss Grace? You little puppy dog. Puppy dog. All right. Thank you all so much again, and I will see you on that old rusty IronVerse Comics trail. I haven't used that one in a while. All right. Later on, folks. Adios. Vaya con Dios. And trying to pick what to put on, I guess this. All right. Later on, folks.